What's going on, everybody? Today I'm bringing you a video on a tier list I've put together for melee slayer weapons. This is going to cover each style of melee as well as what weapons I find to be best and what tasks you should use which style for. If you find this video helpful, a like and a sub go a long way for me, so I really do appreciate it. I am pretty new to making videos, so I also encourage any feedback just to help me get better with making them. It's just something that I like doing in my off time. A disclaimer before we get started is that there are weapons on these lists that are best in slot that most likely will not be affordable for most people watching this video. But I still did include them because I think that it's something that you can work towards. And it's always good to have a goal for your account and continue to go and, be able to afford those things later. And the more Slayer you do, realistically, the more likely you'll be able to afford it down the road. So to get started, the first weapons that I'm going to cover are going to be crush weapons. For each different style, you're going to see the same layout. It's going to be the stat that weapon gives, in addition to also the Dragon Defender and the Avernic Defender that will offer boosts while you're doing Slayer. And most of the time you're going to use these. So, overall, the best weapon for Crush is going to be the Inquisitor's Mace. Now, this is a very expensive weapon, and for most people, you're not going to be using it. A really good weapon to strive for should be the Abyssal Bludgeon. Overall, it's not too expensive, and it does offer a fast attack style, as well as does output a lot of crush damage. The Cudgel does out DPS the Dragon Warhammer in the aspect of its attack speed. Attack speed is really important here when you're doing different Slayer tasks. The Dragon Warhammer is really good for high level PVM and bossing because of its special attack that lowers the target's defense. But overall, the Bludgeon is going to be the one you're really going to want to strive for in this. I really wouldn't recommend using the Dragon Battle Axe or the Leaf Battle Axe, but they did make the list because I know for some Iron Man it may be only items that they can really use for Crush. On screen now is going to be some of the monsters that Crush works really well against. Some of the highlights here are going to be Calphites, Water Fiends, Skeletal Wyverns, and Gargoyles, as these are tasks that you normally wouldn't skip and that you'll want to do. So keep those in mind as you're looking into what weapons you're going to use on these tasks. The next category we're going to cover is going to be the slash weapons. Again, we have a high tier weapon here, and then you have what is going to be most likely the best weapon for you to have, even if the monster's weakness is not slash, which is going to be the whip. Now, I want to take a moment just to say, this should be the first weapon you have for Slayer because it is the most universal if you are not training strength. And if you're not training strength, a Dragon Scimitar is the best option to start with as you get up and use other weapons like the Bludgeon that can only train strength. So really, this one's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to use the whip unless you have the money for the top tier in this one. Again, I would definitely have the whip because that's going to be one you're going to use in 90% of your tasks as you're starting out. As far as Slayer goes too, I only recommend the regular whip. I wouldn't do the tentacle whip or any other variation just because the cost isn't effective for how much you're going to be using it. Some of the top monsters to know for Slash will be Bloodvelds, Hellhounds, Infernal Mages. Demons are weak to Slash, but as I'll talk about in a minute, you won't want to use anything too broad, as Arclight does have a great defense against them. If you don't have Arclight, then a whip is a good secondary. The last weapon category for melee is going to be stab weapons. Obviously, the rapier is going to be top tier here, but a lot of people won't be able to afford it. To start off, the Abyssal Dagger will be a good option because it's not too expensive, and it does have a pretty fast attack speed. The Hasta is good as well, but it is a little more than the Dagger currently. So either one is good, and they're both one-handed. Just depends on the preference. The Dagger does have a better special attack than the one of the Hasta. So the dagger's the one that we really recommend here. And daggers have fast attack speeds. The rapier is the fastest attack speed in the game, however. Some of the monsters that are weak to stab attacks will be dragons, Ankuos, Dagonoths, fire giants, and hill giants. Now, I'll talk about this in a moment, but dragons have a whole nother tier of weapons that can be used that are very beneficial against them. Two of the biggest mentions here would be the Dragon Hunter Lance and Crossbow. Against dragons, these are very beneficial. Definitely recommend saving for them, but they both are pretty pricey. But they do make those dragon tasks and KBD tasks so much nicer. And then any demon tasks working towards getting the arc light is definitely something that you'll want to do. This is a untradeable item, and I will link the wiki page beneath so that you can see how that you can get one of those. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Please leave a like on it if it helps you out in any way, and then please also feel free to add me in game. My username is PhinnCore, and then leave the channel a subscription. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.